A Christian Education Partnership, KCEP we call it, was founded by, you've heard him talk about Bishop Campeche Wario and Janet Helms. They were both students at Trinity, and I think Campeche was 2 weeks from the end of his time there, and they happened to meet up in the library and said, you know, you were going to tell me about your area. He burst into tears because he had been agonizing, what am I going to do? You know, there are all this promise, all these places I could go, and it's just, we just can't seem to make progress up in our northern area of Kenya where there's so much poverty, and for 20 years they had saved, I don't know how many acres, 10 acres, something like that, of land for a Christian school, and they'd prayed for 20 years to have a Christian school in this 80% Muslim area, and just the funds were never coming. So anyway, she said, well, let me gather together some seminary students, and John McDonald, who is in charge of the missions program at Trinity, and they got together, heard the story, and decided, okay, let's start a nonprofit. And within 6 months, they had the first class built and kids in the seats and a teacher teaching. And then each year, they added another class. And that started in 2010, 2011. And now, the school now has about 520 kids, 5 preschools in the surrounding areas, and then, you know, 300 and some in the elementary school. And now they've changed their system, so they've added a 9th grade and a laboratory and all that. So that's a whole different story. But the problem is, once these kids graduate, well, first of all, the most important thing that was key to all of these is that their kids have a Christian education, which they would not have the opportunity for in the public schools, which not only had poor education, but were dominated by Muslim teachers and leaders and so on. So then along came 8th grade for the first class, but these kids then had to be sent all over the country for boarding schools, 2 boarding schools away from home, no Christian schools in the region. So the dream was, oh, if we could only have a high school for boys and high school for girls, they have to be separated as per the government. But as a small little board, we had our galas every year. We had a child sponsorship program, which we still do. And that's really been the thing that has sustained Tumaini Christian Academy in this Marsabit region. And 2 of my kids, one of them is going to be going to college next year. The other is a sophomore this year. This little gal would have been probably pregnant at 13 and, you know, stuck with a, you know, sustenance on the land with the goats and all the rest. But now she has dreams about her future. One of I think the first class is about to become seniors, and one is studying to be a doctor, and others in various professions, and they have dreams of going back and helping in their region, but they're getting, you know, solidified in their Christian faith now through the St. Andrews High School, which is just entered their first class. So, and most of these kids were able to get to a Christian high school, boarding school. So, Jake mentioned this morning that, you know, of course, the next dream is to have a girls' high school, and he was able to get a donor for the girls' high school.
Just for the land.
For the land,
Yeah.
okay, yes,
Yeah.
just the land. So the land is there, and now the dream is to build that up. There's, I think, more to be done for the boys' high school.
Yeah.
3rd tranche.
That's right.
So, but the 3rd class is there, so, you know, we need another water tank, we need a dining hall, right?
Yep.
And I forget what else.
We
Another
needed
dorm?
well, the dorm's paid for. We got that
Okay.
done. So we need
Okay.
dining hall, 2 more classrooms, administrative block, and some water storage tanks.
One of Campeche's goals was that, especially in the first class, there was representation from every one of the tribes in the region. And there's been a lot of tribal infighting, as he mentioned. You know, they'll come along and kill a farmer and steal all his cows or his goats or camels or whatever. And it's just, you know, it's like in just you know, long-term generational hatred, you know, between these tribes. So this is a way to bring them together under Christian education. And anyway, so the goal is that these kids would become solidified in their faith and be able to share it and, you know, see some transformation in that and more peace in that country. So
Awesome. Thank you, Mary.
thank you. Oh, one more thing. 6 years ago, when we realized that we could not possibly start a high school, Janet Helms and Larry Rice, who was on the ARDF board, had a conversation, and that began discussions about KCEP becoming a part of ARDF. So then I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago,
That's
you
right.
probably know, we were acquired by ARDF, and now it's a project of
That's right. Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
You did great.
Well, yeah.